We'll gather around, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are using the molds that came in the October Resin Molds box, and they are the bow little trinket dish molds, but we're not gonna make trinket dishes out of them. We're gonna do something else. So I've got these beautiful vintagey looking Christmas images on rice paper, and I think that we're going to use those today, and we're going to combine that with some Let's Resin epoxy, Let's Resin chrome powders, and we're going to make something really beautiful, and you'll see. So first things first, I'm going to be making these twice. I'm going to do one in blues and silvers and use the two images of outside that are kind of have like the blue background to them. And then we're going to do one with gold, red, and green. And we're going to use these beautiful images with the little kids in them. And I just think they're just going to turn out amazing. First, I just want to kind of make sure and cut them down to size. Now, we're going to have to trim them up a little bit more, but I want to get a rough size on, you know, I want to kind of have it roughed in, right? Now, I realize that the images are circles and this larger bow trinket dish mold is on the oval side, but it's fine. We'll do something later on when we're putting everything together and doing the final touches that's going to hide the fact that the image doesn't cover it fully. I'm not worried about that at all. Now, these molds, I, I'm going to be honest, I don't quite understand why they are labeled as trinket dish molds as opposed to like a picture frame, because in my opinion that's more of what they are. And because they're very thin, like most of your trinket dish molds, they're a little bit thicker on the base of them, and these ones are just not. Could you use them? I mean, yeah, I guess you could. They're different. Okay, we'll put it that way. But that being said, I think they have an array of uses. Like I said, we're not making a trinket dish. Now, granted, I'm not gonna finish it in the fact of like I'm not gonna put a way to hang it or anything like that. So whoever purchases this has free reign of what they want to do with it. If they want to use it as a trinket dish, they can. If they want to use it as something to hang on the wall, they can. Or honestly, in my opinion, the size of them, because they are on the smaller side, they would look really cute as Christmas tree ornaments too, right? Because we're gonna do it as a frame ish as opposed to what its intended use is. But what I'm doing now is I have got my Let's Resin mixing in my Resiners dual mixing machine. And as that's going, I am just coloring these in with the chrome powders. Now, we're going to do the silver and blue first. And I decided instead of just doing the darker blue, I'm going to use, I can't remember if it's the aqua or if it's just the blue, the light blue. I want to say it's the aqua. We're going to use that for some of that filigree around the edges of it, and then the dark blue for the bows. After we get all of the excess powder cleaned up, then we're going in with silver and we're just going to brush it on. Now, could you mix it into your resin and just use regular epoxy or regular mica powder? Absolutely. Yes, you could for the background. I chose to do it this way. It's just what I want to do. Now, because these are chrome powders and they kind of work like your intense chameleon powders, it doesn't necessarily matter what color you put behind them. They show true to the color that they are. I am just going to use some HTV Ront white mica powder, mix it in my resin. Now I mixed up about 6 ounces, not 100% sure how much these are going to take. Like I said, they are very shallow molds with the exception of that huge blue bow in there. That's about the deepest thing in there. Pouring it in super slow. I can't spray it with alcohol. There's a lot of detail around the bows and in those embossed areas that I don't want bubbles to get trapped. kind of letting it find its own way. And then I'm just going to take my silicone tool after this kind of gets in here a little bit and just kind of jab it around. I'm not going to scrape it. I'm not going to pull it or anything like that. Just jab it up and down. This way, if there's any bubbles in there, hopefully just the movement of it will help dislodge them. And then it's not going to ruin the powder that I dusted on there, right? Then fill these babies up. Now, because it's early enough in the day, and at this point my husband, he was out of town, so I had all night long that I could work on it. I decided that instead of making this take 2-3 days to do, I'm just going to throw it into my Let's Resin curing machine, cure it up in 3 hours, so that now we can demold this set and we can get the next set into, we'll get the resin into it. It's too late at this point to worry about putting it in the curing machine again. We'll just let it cure naturally. All right, demolding, easy, no problems whatsoever. Didn't really think that there would be. And I am super excited to see how these turned out. Hopefully they turn out like I think they will. I don't see why not, but like I said, it is very thin. You can kind of see, in particular, the smaller of the two, how thin it is, like around the sides. That's why I don't really see how it's a trinket tray. Like, it looks to me like an old-timey kind of picture frame with a bow on top. But they are absolutely gorgeous. I especially love the bow on this big one. I think it's really, really pretty. Really beautiful, beautiful molds. I can't wait to see them finished. Like, I think we're going to have fun. All right, so now with these, like I said, gold, red, and green are what I'm using. The image that has more red around it, we're going to concentrate heavier on the red. And then the opposite for the one with the green, we'll do the bow and the bigger stuff in the green and just do the smaller details in the red. This way it's kind of pulling on that main color in there. Still, same colors are being used. We're just going to play on them a little bit differently. They'll still go together, but kind of geared more towards each image, if that makes sense. Okay, so I am just going to go through this real quick, get them all dusted, get my resin mixed up, and I will be back when we're ready to pour, and I will walk you through what we're going to do next.
Snow was falling, lights were glowing bright. Kids in sweaters running through the night. Gingerbread and laughter at the door, wishing we could live it once more. Carols singing, twinkling trees so high. Stockings hung where dreams could touch the sky. Candy canes in windows frosted white, holding on to magic tight. Christmas past, oh take me there, to a time with no compare. Every heart was alive and free.
Alright, so we finished up with these. Now, I mixed up a little bit more resin this time. I mixed up 8 ounces instead of the 6. The 6 gave me a little bit left over, maybe a half-ish ounce or so. I decided, one of you asked if I could recast this using alcohol inks or something. I decided, since I had out my powders and I'm dusting, I'm just going to go ahead and use some of the Let's Resin Intense Chameleon powders in the color Maple, and just kind of give you an idea of what this napkin ring holder looks like fully colored. All right, same deal. Let's Resin Epoxy, HTV White Mica Powder. We're just going to mix it all in, pour these, let it do its thing, and then we're going to come back and we are going to get all of these images inside here, see how the napkin ring holder actually turns out. This is still the kind of messed up mold. I've got another one in the works where it's going to be like actually good and not stupid like this one and all unlevel and whatever. But I just wanted to really see what this one turns out like, again, fully colored, and give you guys a better idea. Now, the one thing that I noticed in demolding last time, and regardless, it's not going to matter as far as what, which mold it is, the side of it, because of how it's cast and how it has to be cast without making it like one of the molds that you have to split all the way around, which I'm not good enough to make those yet. Haven't tried it. Putting it on its side, you're going to have this side here that's going to be a little rough around the edges. You're going to want to, whatever you are coloring it with, color it similar, like the inside resin. If you decide that you're going to dust it or whatever, you're definitely going to want to pour the resin in the same kind of color-ish that you are using to dust, because that side is going to show, and you're going to end up wanting to probably sand it, file it down really nice, do something that you can finish off that side so that when it's laying, because it's going to actually lay on the wood grain, so that when it's laying down through the napkin, you have both sides are finished, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Anyway, all right, fill these up. Now I had a little bit left over. This is it's a trial mold on something that I'm trying. So depending on how this works out, this may be in my store soon-ish. We'll see. I haven't cast it yet. I'm going to see how it turns out before I make a decision on if I need to do anything else with the master mold first. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Again, I'm not doing anything special to it. I'm just pouring in the leftover resin that I had. Just kind of curious. I just finished this mold. I want to see how it turns out, so I know if there's any alterations that I need to make on it. All right, so this is the next day. Now it's time to demold, and we're going to start with the napkin ring holder and see what it actually looks like. Now you can see how super crazy detailed that this turns out. You can actually see all of that wood texture in there. I mean, it looks just like a wooden ring. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely textured. But do you see how I'm saying, like, the one side you will need to kind of do something and just to make it finish it off a little bit better. But I really like it. I think it's a cool idea. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think now that you're seeing it more in a more completed-ish form. All right, on to the next. Now we're going to just go ahead and see how this one turned out and if I need to do anything to it or if it's good enough that I can start making molds with it. In just a minute, if I hurry up. Come on, Nicole, you can do it. Don't you hate waiting? I hate waiting, and I'm waiting for myself. So the mold came out great. Now let's look at this. Um, I like it. I think there's a few things I want to fix on it, but I do overall like how it is. Anyway, and it's partially like it's a textured, like you can see where the jewels are and the diamonds and whatever, but the rest of it is like a textured kind of matte. So you're going to get the sparkle from the diamonds that are in there, and then you'll have the matte for the rest of the letter. So you obviously, because it's done in mica powder, you can't really tell a huge difference in there. There are some things I think I want to touch up on first before I make it officially and put it in my store. But anyway, just overall basics right now. Let me know what you guys think, if it's something, because I want to do the entire alphabet, I think, but we'll see. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, so here is the first gold one. Again, turned out absolutely gorgeous. I love Let's Resin's chrome powders. They're probably one of my favorite ways to color things when I dust. I like it even more than chameleon powders. I really truly do. All right, so let's get our images on. Now, there are a couple ways that you can go about doing this depending on what it is that you're going to be utilizing this for. I am going to, after I kind of just scrape off this little bit of overpour, I'm going to do it I'm going to decoupage it on. Now, this is how I would, no matter what, if I'm going to put resin on top of it or not, this is how I would secure this image in here. I do it just like you're decoupaging, and then after it's done, dried, whatever, then I would add my layer of resin. This way, I don't have to worry about the image bleeding, the resin kind of seeping into it and discoloring the paper like it tends to do depending on what it is you're using. I don't have to worry about it moving because it's nice glued down, sealed, all of the things. So if I choose to put resin over top of it, I don't have to worry about any of those things. It's a done deal, right? First things first, we need to cut these a little bit closer down to size because I don't want to have to try and pull off any of this image. I want to just be able to put it on here. So we're just going to kind of measure it up a little bit. Now, because when I watched a video on how to decoupage. The person who it was, and I don't remember, it's been a while, said that, you want to kind of rip the sides so that it blends easier and it's not like a hard line. So you kind of just want to, like, if you have to make it, take a piece off or whatever, wet it and then just kind of pull that paper and whatever. I've done it before. You've seen me do it before so that you don't have the hard lines. Well, this I kind of want them. So I started off with this one and it's a little bit bigger on the top and the bottom than what I need. And then instead of cutting it, I was like, well, I'll just wet it. And just like when I did the napkin and the frog and that eco pour jar that I did with for Thanksgiving or whatever. Not Thanksgiving, fall. Um just like I did that, and I was able to wet it, and the napkin just kind of pulls off real nicely, and then you can blend in the sides, and it's fine and great. Well, rice paper is a different texture, a different thing altogether than napkin paper. Napkin is much, much thinner, much more fiddly. Rice paper, and this is for those of you who have not worked with either, rice paper is more of a hardier paper than a napkin is, and it doesn't, like, yeah, it'll kind of ish rip, but it's more sturdy, less thin, I guess. So when I went to rip it, it didn't rip right, like not like the napkin did. So for this, I would recommend maybe cutting it down to size more, which is what I do with the rest of them, because now at the top, instead of it just going around the edge of that inside little oval, there's a chunk taken out. It's not a huge deal because we have to do something with the sides anyway, but just kind of letting it know it doesn't kind of disintegrate like a napkin does as easily. Just throwing that out there. All right, for the blue one, I was able to cut off enough that I thought, well, maybe I could fill in the two sides with the excess paper that was in there and it kind of blend in. I mean, once I got it wet and with the glue and stuff like that, like it just didn't do the same thing. So like again, it's fine. I'm not super stressed about it. We'll fix this just like we're gonna fix the red one, and we're just gonna, it'll be fine. You'll never even know. You just can't tell. Like you can see it, you put it next to it. It didn't blend as I thought it was, or kind of hoped maybe it would, but it's all good. Now, the different ways that you can do it depending on what you're doing. If you're going to use this as a trinket tray, okay, you can 100% do all of these steps that I'm doing now. I would recommend just to save the piece. Like, I don't know over time and throwing things into it and taking things out of it, how well that image is going to be without getting scratched up or messed up or any of those things. Does that make sense? I would recommend, if you're going to use it for those purposes, to go ahead and put, you don't need a lot, just a very thin layer of resin down after your Mod Podge is 100% completely dry, right? go ahead and put that resin down, because that's going to protect your image, and then you're not going to have to worry about it. Now, if you're using it for kind of what I'm gearing more towards as an ornament type deal, all you got to do is drill a hole in the middle of those bows, put one of your eye screws, and you can attach a jump ring and, a ribbon or whatever to hang it up with. You do just that to hang it up on the wall. You can use those M3 command strips to put those on the wall if that's what you so choose to do. I wouldn't necessarily worry about doing a resin top coat because it's going to be hung up. It's not going to be, getting hit and touched and all of the things to ruin that image. So those are my suggestions. Depending on what you're intended for the piece, that's what I would do. Now, to finish these off and hide those areas where the rice paper doesn't completely go, we are just going to use some gloss varnish and some glitter and just edge out each one of these pieces. The two smaller ones that don't have any, there's nothing, we're just going to go very, very thin. Now, when you make your mixture, you want to make it, because we're going kind of like in a corner and you don't want to get glitter everywhere that you don't want it, right? And you don't want it too runny because you don't want it coming out into the picture where you don't want it to be. But at the same time, you kind of want it to be able to be at that consistency where it's on whatever tool you're using and it's not just like immediately dripping off, but you want it thin enough that at the same time, it's not stuck there, it's going to come off. Does that make sense? So you want it thick enough not to just drip off like water, right, immediately. You want to have some kind of thickness to it that it'll stay for a minute, but then it'll drop. It's just going to make your life that much easier as far as putting it around there and whatever. Decided that I'm just going to add just a tad just to the inner parts of the bow. On this one, I had an idea after I, go through and do all the edges, do the bow. I decided that I think it'll be really pretty just to kiss that water in there just a little bit, just give it a little bit of sparkle, make it beautiful. Perfect. We're going to go ahead after I finish this. We're going to do the other two. Same thing, nothing crazy to it. And then that's pretty much it. I will be back when we are ready to wrap things up.
From the sky, making gifts with love while days go by. Fireside whisper secrets of the year, warming hearts and bringing loved ones near. Cookies baking, sun fills all the rooms, laughter echoing in the afternoon. Children filled with magic in their eyes, underneath the tree where joy resides. This is what Christmas is truly about, love in the air and never a doubt. Family together, sharing the cheer, heartfelt moments last through the year. This is what Christmas is truly about, love in the air and never a doubt. Family together, sharing the cheer, heartfelt moments last through the year. Wrapping memories in the softest bows, hugging tighter as the cold wind blows. Stories old and new come to life again in a circle, hand in hand, old friends. Silent night has never been so bright. Candles flicker warmth into the night. Gift is in the giving, hearts that shine. Every moment cherished, purely divine. This is what Christmas is truly about, love in the air and never a doubt. Family together, sharing the cheer, heartfelt moments last through the year. This is what Christmas is truly about,
right, I am back. I absolutely love how these turned out. I think you could do a whole series of these and just do some beautiful pictures. I mean, it doesn't even have to stop there. You could have this just gorgeous collection on your wall or have a Christmas tree just filled with these. You can use actual real pictures if you want. I, I think that they are just absolutely beautiful. And they don't have to be just Christmas either, right? Like they could be anything that you want them to be, just depending on what image and what colors you choose to do. Now, for the K, I just wanted to fool around a little bit and I decided that it was just plain boring white. Not that this is anything special. Like I said, it's just a tester piece. I wanted to see how it turned out if I just went over it real quick with a marker. That and to kind of give you guys an idea of a little bit more what you're looking at. It's really hard to tell with just it being all white like it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I think there's a little bit more tweaking I need to do with this before I put it in my store. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up. That is a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Tuesday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Blue elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment, right? You lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's up for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care. Likes and shares, they grow. You make the channel glow. Every single view, I owe it all to you. Blue elephant crew, this one's up for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care.